Imagine waking up one day, not in your own bed, but behind cold steel bars, your past mistakes echoing louder than the clanging gates. This was James, once lost in a world of wrong choices, now standing at the edge of a new beginning. The walls of prison weren't just physical, they were the weight of guilt, the shadow of judgment from society, the crushing fear of never being more than a label. But James refused to let that be his story's end. Inside, he faced the hardest battle, reclaiming his own mind. Education became his lifeline. With nothing but borrowed books and a relentless hunger to learn, he devoured topics ranging from psychology to business. He didn't just want to escape prison, he wanted to transform his identity. But knowledge alone wasn't enough. The real test was breaking free from the cycle of anger and regret. James started small. He volunteered in the prison's mentorship program, helping others navigate their own darkness. Each conversation was a mirror, reflecting his own struggles and strengths. This gave him purpose beyond himself. When released, the world outside wasn't welcoming. Doors slammed shut, jobs denied, neighborhoods suspicious, old friends vanished. But James crafted a strategy forged in resilience. He built trust through action. He started a community garden in a neglected part of town, turning vacant lots into blooming spaces where kids learned about growth, both of plants and themselves. Through dirt-stained hands and sweat, James showed that redemption isn't a destination, but a daily choice. He partnered with local schools, teaching workshops on overcoming adversity, not from theory, but from lived experience. His story was raw, real, no gloss, no sugarcoating. It was the power of owning your past without letting it own you. James's journey teaches us 3 concrete lessons. First, reclaim your narrative by investing in your mind. Read, learn, expand. Second, find purpose by serving others, transforming pain into positive impact. Third, build trust through consistent, humble actions. Change minds by changing habits. This isn't just about a former convict. It's about anyone trapped by their circumstances. Imagine what you can grow if you plant seeds of hope, water them with effort, and nurture them with patience. Your past is a chapter, not the whole book. What will your next page say? But let's delve deeper into James's transformation to truly understand the magnitude of his change and the ripple effects that followed. In the early days of his incarceration, James felt isolated, overwhelmed by the enormity of his mistakes. The prison environment was harsh and unforgiving, with many inmates resigned to their fate or consumed by bitterness. Yet James sought something different. He began attending every educational class offered, from literacy programs to vocational training. He discovered that knowledge opened doors within his mind, granting freedom even when his body was confined. Books became his closest companions. He read about history, philosophy, and stories of resilience. One book in particular left a lasting impact, a memoir by a man who had rebuilt his life after addiction. This narrative resonated with James, illuminating a path forward. It wasn't just about avoiding past errors. It was about embracing a new identity, grounded in growth and hope. James also learned the power of reflection. He started journaling, documenting not only his thoughts and feelings, but also his goals and daily achievements. This practice helped him monitor his progress and maintain accountability. Writing became a tool for self-awareness, allowing him to confront uncomfortable truths and celebrate small victories. The prison mentorship program was more than volunteering. It was a crucible for empathy and leadership. James found himself guiding younger inmates, many of whom were as lost as he once was. Through shared stories and honest dialogue, he helped them envision possibilities beyond the prison walls. This role gave James a sense of responsibility and reinforced his commitment to change. Upon release, the external challenges threatened to undermine his resolve. The stigma of incarceration lingered like a shadow. Employers hesitated to offer him opportunities, landlords questioned his background, and social circles fractured. Yet James refused to retreat into despair. He understood that rebuilding trust required tangible actions over time. The community garden was his answer. Transforming a derelict lot into a vibrant green space symbolized renewal, not just for the neighborhood, but for himself. He engaged local residents, collaborated with nonprofits, and secured small grants to sustain the project. The garden became a sanctuary where children learned about nature and responsibility. James taught them how nurturing plants mirrored nurturing their own potential. The garden blossomed into a hub for community gatherings, workshops, and celebrations. It was a living testament to the power of second chances. James's workshops at schools extended this impact. He spoke candidly about adversity, mistakes, and the power of choices. His authenticity inspired students to confront their own challenges with courage and optimism. By sharing his lived experience, James bridged gaps between diverse backgrounds and fostered understanding. Over time, James's efforts garnered recognition. Local media featured his story, highlighting the transformative power of education and community engagement. He became a sought-after speaker, advocating for prison reform and reintegration programs. Yet, despite the accolades, James remained humble, emphasizing that redemption is a continuous journey rather than a final destination. His story underscores a universal truth. No matter how entrenched one's circumstances may seem, the human spirit has an extraordinary capacity for change. It calls on each of us to look beyond labels and embrace the possibility of growth. James's lessons extend beyond individual redemption. They challenge societal perceptions and invite collective responsibility. How can communities create environments that support transformation rather than punishment? What roles do empathy, education, and opportunity play in breaking cycles of despair? Ultimately, James's journey is a beacon of hope. It reminds us that the seeds we plant today, in ourselves and others, can yield a harvest of renewal. When nurtured with patience, effort, and compassion, these seeds grow into stories of resilience that inspire generations. So as you reflect on your own life, ask yourself, what narratives have shaped you? Which chapters are still unwritten? And how will you choose to write your next page? Remember, the past is not a chain, but a foundation. With courage and commitment, you can build upon it to create a future defined not by mistakes, but by the strength and wisdom gained from overcoming them.